squad update, if you can, on a couple of players. Adam Phillips, how's he looking?
Philo won't make the weekend. Mal won't make the weekend. Just a little bit too soon for them. Got to be cautious, really, of longer term focus over kind of rushing him back just for this game. The rest of the squad really are all fine. Josh is pretty much there. He's been on the grass. Robbo and Shep off the back of the game the other day is all fine, no issues. So other than kind of Mal and Philo, really, it's just come a little bit too early for him.
Is Nathaniel Ogbetter kind of back at full tilt?
Yes, he's trained all week and he's definitely feeling better. Now, there's been a little bit of an illness in the camp this week. There's a few people being away and off and sick, which isn't great and ideal. But look, we got to manage the group as best we can. Look, we've had a free week this week. There's been mix and match in numbers in terms of resting bodies, in terms of maybe knocks. Some 3 or 4 lads have been off being ill. So we're hoping kind of come today, Thursday, Friday, we'll be, in a decent place later on in the weck.
Could we see you play a back three a bit more in future games?
No, that won't be the case. Back four gets us, more attacking players on the pitch. It's something that we've, really focused on. Me getting the role in the first place, and the club, wanting to go that direction. Something that we practiced tirelessly over the course of pre-season, and it's important that we stick with the plan.
And I know we've discussed this previously, but it's now just one clean sheet in 32 games. How conscious of you of that record and finding a way to be able to do that? Because it's certainly a huge help, isn't it, in terms of getting results if you can keep a few more clean sheets?
Yeah, it would help. It would help massively. Of course, there's no getting away from that. But I think I touched on my interview last week. We've watched back goals and analysed and tried to become better. And I think a lot of them is more team defending rather than back four or individuals. I think we can defend better as a team. I think when we're defending our box, I think we need to become connected better as a team. Let the ball go around us more, not through. Stopping crosses. The top of the pitch players getting connected back with the midfield and the back line, and giving the back line cover as well on top of that, and not getting exposed. So I do think a lot of the work we've been doing recently has been more team orientated to defend better from back to front, as a team being connected.
Got a couple of wins now in the last few weeks in the cup, so I imagine you're desperate to follow that with a league victory this weekend. Yeah,
look, that's obviously the plan. We feel like after the international break, we've results wise have been okay. Obviously, I know Rotherham has set that back a little bit, but in terms of performance, I think we all know that we were strong performers in terms of getting the result we would have liked. It just didn't go for us on the day. We've had a couple of decent performances or results in the cups. We need to take that into the league now. I think the only thing with the York performance, in my opinion, was it's probably the first time this season that we've not been quite at our level that I would like and come through and won. We haven't had that happen to us too many times this season, or in my time as manager. So that's been a positive. So look, we've had a clear week on the grass. We've really looked at ourselves in terms of with and without the ball, trying to improve again. And I would hopefully like to see a good performance in the league now come Saturday.
Do you place a significance on that? Because the ability to get points, particularly to win games when you're not at your best, is a marker, isn't it, of a team that can go and do things.
Yeah, I think on Saturday in the York game, I do think that it wasn't our best performance. I do think that we showed character to come through it. We were under pressure at spells. Lads were blocking shots off the line and defending long throw-ins, and then Robbo comes up with a great kind of late set play goal. So I think the lads deserve big credit in terms of coming through the game in a different way. We've not had many of them, like I said, in the course of my time being in charge. A lot of the time, if we play well, we've got a chance. If we don't play well, we've come out losing. So to get the flip side of that has been nice, and hopefully that now can be a big building block for us moving forward into the league game and the Virtue Trophy game on Tuesday night as well.
You've beaten Huddersfield, you've won and lost against Rotherham, you've drawn at Bradford, you've beaten York. What are your kind of thoughts on the Yorkshire derby so far this season ahead of Doncaster this weekend?
Yeah, I think they've been a mixed bag. Look, I think do we set out our way to win every single game? Absolutely. No matter who the opposition is it likely that we're going to win every game? No. So we have to accept that you will lose games. Some will hurt more than others, and some you can accept that a little bit more because you've played well. I think the Rotherham game, as much as it hurts as a Yorkshire derby, first half, particularly for the first 45 minutes, we were completely dominant. And if we scored a goal in that time, it's a completely different outlook, in my opinion. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag. I think over the course of the season so far, started off on fire. Now it's become a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of consistency. Can we now really, go to Doncaster and put a really good performance in and get the result that we want off the back of a couple of decent results in the Cup?
How impressed have you been with what Doncaster have managed to achieve over the last 18 months or so?
They've done brilliant. They've done really, really well. They play in a way that I feel like is an attractive way of playing. Grant's, really forward-thinking manager and plays with wingers in this team. They got a real attacking threat that we need to be, very, very mindful of. They've done great to be promoted, and then hit the ground running in terms of their league position currently so far this season. It's a game that we know we have to be fully ready and prepared for.
Have you been getting some insights from Patrick Kelly this week?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, look, you do your homework and you get all the connections you can possible. So we've done our work for sure, and any kind of little bits of nuggets that you can get off individuals that know one or two players or whatever is always helpful.
And talking of connections, this weekend could see David McGoldrick against Billy Sharp, which adds a fascinating element to the game. Of course, two players that you know very well. Yeah,
it's always interesting when them kind of players come up against each other, especially at their age. And look, they had a unbelievable time together as a partnership at Sheffield United. I was lucky enough to play with both of them for a season. Did see obviously more from previous clubs and international as well, but two top people more than anything, two top strikers. I couldn't even like to think of the amount of goals they've scored between them. If you add that up, incredible careers to still be going at this age. I'm sure they'll be delighted to see each other at the weekend as well. Yeah, Billy won't like reminding of this, but he will be 40 next February. Was there ever a flicker in your mind that you might push towards 40 in terms of your playing career? No, definitely not. Obviously, I had a different avenue, and to be still going at that age for Sharpie is quite incredible. Digi's still going strong as well. I know a couple of years younger, but to be going at 40, to have that hunger and that fire still, even analysing him now, still running around and want to score goals in the box, and your credit to him, incredible. Yeah, they're both kind of looking as good as ever. Is that testament to them as professionals and individuals that they've managed to keep themselves in such kind of fine tune towards their 40s? Absolutely, yeah. It's a dedication. It's a sacrifice to your job and to your craft to still be going at this age. It doesn't happen by chance if you're a poor professional that you're still playing at this age. You got to look after your body. You got to recover. And you got to keep playing at a decent level to keep getting signed by clubs at that age as well. So credit to the both of them. They're still going strong. Didzi's, one of the brightest in training every single day. He's scored his fair share of goals for us so far this season. And Billy, no doubt, is the same at Doncaster. And look, he'll always score goals as well. Just finally from me, a reflection on the free international weekend now. I know you've got the trophy game next week, but the Northampton game being off, will that help at all in terms of squad and rest and reset and things like that? Yeah, I think it will help in terms of just looking after bodies and niggling injuries. I think we want to get through the Virtue Trophy game as well. Obviously, the result last night has been a little bit favourable for us in terms of how that looks for us now. I was really making a point to the players that I really want to get through in that game. I want more games. The more games we have, that means the more games we're winning. Maybe previously this competition has not been taken as seriously, but I want to win. I want to get through the rounds. I want to get to latter stages. Maybe that's because of the connection I've got with the competition. With what I've done with it previously at this club, I know what kind of feeling it can give you as games go on. So I want the lads to experience that, and hopefully we can get the right result on Tuesday night and get into the next stage in that as well. Great stuff, Conor. See you Saturday. Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, Conor. Just to check on the illness, so has everyone pretty much come through that now, or there's still a few sort of in doubt for Saturday with the illness that's been?
No, I think everyone will come through it, bar that it doesn't spread any further than what it is right now. There's been a couple of lads not being in the building, and obviously we have to take the right protocols from that point of view. But come Friday, the day before a game, we'd like to think that we're at full strength, really.
And a longer term one, how's Fabio Gello doing?
Fabio's doing okay. Still a little bit of time to go. On the grass, trying to get obviously really, really fit to get back with the group. He'll probably be definitely after international break, maybe potentially 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. That he's in and around the group that little bit more.
Okay, good stuff. And you mentioned the international stuff there. It's been a little bit stop-start in terms of regular league games since the sort of really busy early August. I mean, I think this game is the only one in pretty much a month between Rotherham and Luton. I mean, is that been a bit difficult to sort of get a bit of momentum, because it has been a bit of a strange stop-start time?
Yeah, it's been a bit tricky from that point of view. I think, with our Northampton game being off now as well, I think we'll be probably 3 games behind some teams, which is which isn't easy, because you see other teams playing and we're not playing at times, and you want to get that momentum and that consistency in your game a little bit. Now, look, we've had loads of cup games as well, which have gone okay for us to keep that feeling going. But it's important on Saturday to get a good performance into the lads, because, like you said, there's a big gap between the Rotherham game to that Doncaster game to the Luton game, and to get that points on the board is going to be important.
I guess when league results aren't going quite as you want, it sort of drags it on, doesn't it? You probably prefer a few more games to sort of nip that in the bud.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it drags it on a little bit more for sure. Then obviously, if you go Saturday and you don't have another game for a couple of weeks, then regardless of the results, you're looking, you're waiting even longer to try and put it right, or to continue the run, or however that looks. So I think after the international break, that will stop. We'll have games relentlessly from November through till Christmas. And I think that period then we'll kind of really see where we're at.
Yeah, obviously it makes total sense with the midfielders potentially being called up and the injuries that you got to call the game. Was there any discussion of maybe just play it, or was it always, if we get the call-ups, we'll call it off? The Northampton game, I mean. Yeah,
well, look, we've got, it's always, if you've got enough players to call it off, I think, with the bodies that we're nursing as well at times, I think it might come at a good time just to kind of reset a little bit after the Virtue Trophy game on Tuesday. I felt like it was an important week for us from York all the way through to that Lincoln game. Look, we've come through the York game, with a win. Not quite in the way that we would want it, but hopefully it will springboard us now into Doncaster and Lincoln and get the results that we want.
A lot was made about this run of Yorkshire derbies. Obviously, you've got the win, the draw at Bradford, which was a lot of positives. Obviously, Rotherham, and then the York win. If you can get a win at Donny, you can probably say that come through that pretty well, can't you?
Yeah. Hopefully. Look, I think, like you said, Bradford was positive. Rotherham, in terms of the performance for large spells, was positive. I know the result wasn't what we wanted it to be. York, we obviously won it in a different type of way. And hopefully now, look, if we get a good performance over anything on Saturday, it just gives ourselves a chance to get the result that we want.
Is Grant McCann someone you've sort of crossed paths with in your career? Obviously, very great player and very experienced manager now as well.
Yeah, a few times. I've been at a couple of games this season where I've seen him. We've spoken a couple of times on players over the course of the summer as well. And yeah, look, he's someone that he plays the game in an attacking style, in an attacking way. He's had real good success at League 2 and League 1. And he's a young, I see him as a young, bright manager still, with the ages that you can play, or you can manage, being like 60s and all that. You see the older managers, and I still see Grant as a young, exciting manager that has achieved so much. He's someone that I see his teams, the way they play. It's definitely an attacking style. Got promoted last year with a back four and exciting players in his team, and it's someone that I think he plays the game in the right way.
Obviously, they're on a bit of a tricky run as well after a fantastic start. Do you think both teams going into it and sort of in the league, not ideal form, make a difference, or did that go out the window in a derby? I know it's a cliche, but
yeah. Look, I think we need to take care of ourselves over anything. I think we've had a couple of good weeks in terms of on the grass. Cup games have gone okay. And we need to really focus on ourselves now heading into this game, regardless of Yorkshire derby or their form or whatever. It's been a big week on focusing on us and how we can get better. All right.
Colin, can I just ask?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to ask, when the league results have taken a bit of a dip as they have, how do you sort of balance looking at performance and looking at results?
Yeah, I think for me, being a young coach, I think I need to probably become that little bit better at losing games and realising why we lost them and not take them to heart as much. I'm one that does a lot of prepping games, and sometimes when it doesn't go for you, you get really down and you think why, and you take it to heart a little bit. I need to realise that, look, we're not going to win every single game, and a defeat isn't just a defeat. It's why was it a defeat and what can we get better at? And I feel like over the last couple of weeks we've become better at that. Now, we've always looked back at games and we've always analysed them and see where we can get better, but rather than taking it to heart a little bit and to maybe me taking it home a little bit, analysing it in a little bit of a different way and go, right, we've lost a game, we are going to lose games, unfortunately, that's the nature of the job that we're in, but where can we really get better as a team moving forward into the next game?
And is that something that you can only really learn when you go into the job? Because I guess you know all these things before you do it, but once you're in the emotion of it, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the more experience you get as a manager, the more you become accustomed to losing, because like I said, you are going to lose plenty of games and you're going to win and draw and whatnot. But I think you become more experienced on how to handle it. And that's the same as any situation. As a more experienced head coach, it might be an individual that you're struggling with in your dressing room, or it might be, press or whatever that might be. You become more experienced in that space. So it's the same as losing games. You try and analyse them and makes you as comfortable as possible at losing a game and making the squad better moving forward, really.
And when you talk to Adam about sort of sticking to your principles with regards to the back four, again, is that side of it difficult to resist for you, or is that something that comes naturally to not sort of waver when results are going away and overthink, should I do this differently or that differently?
No, I believe in the way that we're playing. I think people get bogged down with formations a little bit, if I'm honest. I think, at times...
It goes beyond formations, doesn't it? You could rethink pressing or any element.
Yeah, exactly. I think you look so much different with the ball in a shape nowadays, and then you defend differently without the ball. I think, are you a back four, are you a back five? And it's a bit of a bugbear of mine, if I'm being honest with you. People go on about Ruben Amorim's formation. They look completely different when they're with the ball and when they're without the ball. It drives me mad. It's nothing to do with the formation, in my opinion. I'm not going on about Ruben Amorim and Manchester United here, because they don't give a damn what I think. But in terms of are you going to keep it back four? Are you going to keep it back five? We look completely different when we've got the ball, and we look completely different when we're pressing it high. There's so many shapes now in the game. You can press in a diamond, but you can build as a back three. You can press in a 4-3-3, but you build in a back four. So I think formations is, in this day and age, and how the game looks, is completely irrelevant, to be honest.
And just on Patrick Kelly, obviously first international or senior international call up this week. From your experience, what will that do for him in the coming weeks? Yeah,
it's an amazing time for Patrick. I remember getting my first call up for the senior international team. It's something that's you remember for a long time. It's a very proud moment for him and his family, and something that he should be very, very excited for. He's well regarded within that that Northern Ireland Federation. His performances here has obviously got him that call up as well, and his performances for the 21s. I think, look, with his age profile and how we're trying to go about our business that little bit more, I think seeing people like Patrick go on and get a senior cap, Blandy with 21s, and Vamal, it just shows that with the platform we're giving young players, that it's a really exciting place to be. I get huge pride on players going away on international break and players going on senior call-ups, particularly at younger age groups, at younger ages. It just shows that, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, we've got the platform in place with my way of thinking in terms of developing players to reach them levels. And I'm delighted for Pat in terms of his own recognition, but I'm delighted for the club as well, because it just shows that how we're trying to go about our business is we're going about it in the right way from that point of view.
And even if he doesn't, play a minute on the pitch, what will just be being around the group and training with the group do, not just for him, but maybe for the rest of the group when he comes back and says, wow, I saw X do this, or, why do that?
Yeah, it's invaluable. Yeah, it's amazing. It's, there'll be players now in that camp that he'll look at and go, wow, is that the level that I need to get to? He'll feel that he's at a really good place in himself, but there'll be people playing, Championship or Premier League or abroad or however their squad looks. I've not really seen it, but there'll be players playing at a very high level in that squad, and he'll come back and go, wow, he's incredible. I've got so much work to do, so it's just gentle reminders at time in terms of the quality that is out there, and he'll see that now firsthand. It might be the opposition players that he's playing against, if he does get on the pitch, and it's invaluable. It keeps that, that fire lighting to know that there's so many levels to go and achieve, and any, the amount of players we can get them that feeling is only going to benefit him and the group for sure.